myself inside all this tension, a feeling I never was expecting. I don't see the pros, don't know the cons, forget the whys. You know why?
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this conversation. So, I've been wanting to talk about Mariah Carey and the passing of her mom and her sister. It's been well over a week, almost a couple of weeks now, since the news broke that both her mom and sister passed away on the same day. And while she didn't have a close relationship with her mom and she was estranged from her sister, it's still sad news when you hear about someone in your family passing away. So she shared, her thoughts on that. And she also shared a little bit about the estrangement that she had with her mom and her sister in her autobiography that she wrote some years ago. But the reason why I wanted to talk about that now, why I'm finally just getting a chance to get around to it, I wanted to talk about this thought of family and family is over everything, blood is thicker than water. Those things, they're not true. Listen, people can be not born into your family. You could meet people in this lifetime that could be closer to you and that could be better to you than those who you are in the same family with. So, the reason why I wanted to talk about this now is because I did some commentary recently on the rumors, because it's rumors, it's not facts. But I'm talking about it because it was a story that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, they may be trying to get their way back into the fold, into the royal family. And if that is indeed the case, I feel like it's hypocritical because if the family was so terrible to them and they allowed so many horrible things to go on, and this is what they were claiming, and they used the stories about the family to profit off of it, then why would they want to go back into it if it's so terrible, you know? And so I talked about that recently, and I also, in the commentary, I talked about Meghan Markle and her dad and how I just found it strange. And this is my opinion, and I don't care what anyone thinks, it's my opinion. How this woman decided that her dad was not good enough to be at the wedding. She didn't invite him to the wedding. And not only she didn't invite him to the wedding, she is no longer speaking to him because he shared some information and took some posed for some photos with the paparazzi. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to, before I get into the Meghan Markle and Thomas Markle situation and everything like that, I want to preface all of this by saying I am not one of those people that feels like no matter what, you should stick by your family, no matter what. Family is over everything, blood is thicker than water, because family can do some damaging things to you. There have been family members that have assaulted physically, sexually, family. I'm definitely not here to say that anyone should be forgiving and just bringing that person back into the fold and having a relationship with them just because that is your family. That is crazy. I would never insinuate anything like that. But I do feel that there are some things that, yeah, you may separate yourself. You may not have a regular, everyday relationship with these people. You may not desire to be around them. You may not even like them. Okay. But some things I just feel it's like, that's really petty. And yeah, you may not like them. And I'm not saying that they have to do something egregious for you to not want to be around them. But I just feel that some things are just really petty. And even though it's everyone's personal decision on what they want to do in their life, I really don't care, but I am going to share my opinion about the things that are public that I feel like talking about. And that's how I feel about it. I just think it was weird that she had her father in law walk her down the aisle, who at the time was the prince. Now he's the king. And her dad couldn't even sit in the back pew of the church. And this is the same man that they're alleging, King Charles, they're alleging that made comments about their child's race, what the baby was going to look like, what skin color it was going to have. But yet she was open to a reconciliation with her father-in-law, but not her dad, who posed for paparazzi pictures. I'm just saying. But I'm going to share my screen because I want to share the Mariah Carey story. And then I wanted to share Simone Biles because her mom, you know, uh, she's still alive, her birth mother. She's had some struggles in her life. And she is hoping that she could not even so much have a relationship with her daughter, but to be able to apologize to her personally. So that's been put out there, but I'm going to share my screen. All right, so Mariah Carey reveals her mom, Patricia, and sister, Allison, both passed away on the same day. Mariah Carey's mother, Patricia, and sister Allison passed away over the weekend. This was in August, end of August, actually around my birthday. Details surrounding their deaths are limited at this time. However, Mariah Carey confirmed the tragic news with People. She expressed, "My heart is broken that I've lost my mother this past weekend. Sadly, in a tragic turn of events, my sister lost her life on the same day. I feel blessed that I was able to spend the last week with my mom before she passed. I appreciate everyone's love and support and respect for my privacy during this impossible time." In her 2020 memoir, Mariah Carey touches on her complicated relationship with her mom, writing, "Like many aspects of my life, my journey with my mother has been full of contradictions and competing realities. It's never been only black and white, it's been a whole rainbow of emotions." It's no secret that Mariah had a strained relationship with her sister. In February 2021, Allison sued the Grammy Award winner for $1.25 million over claims made in her memoir. In the chapter Dandelion Tea, Mariah alleges that Allison Carey gave her drugs when she was only 12. Allegations Allison denied. Listen, it's Mariah's story to tell. I don't believe that Mariah had any reason to lie on her sister because what would it benefit her? It would be actually more in the grand scheme of things for someone like her sister Allison, who was destitute, to make allegations about her sister. So it was definitely convenient for her to try to sue her, which it wasn't successful, but try to sue her for $1.25 million for those claims. So I definitely believe Mariah, and I don't have any issue with her not having a relationship with someone like that who not only tried to affect her in a negative way, by trying to share drugs with her. But as you could see from the picture, from the story that I shared, drugs will do a number on you. And it's crazy that you could see the resemblance, but then also see the tragedy that her sister became by allowing drugs to take over her life. So let me share this story with Simone Biles' mom. And her birth mother is wanting her to forgive her for abandoning her. All right, Shannon Biles remains hopeful that one day she'll be able to have a relationship with her daughter, seven-time Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles, but she says she's leaving that up to her to be the one to reach out. In a sit down with the Daily Mail, Shannon, the biological mother of the gymnastics star, expressed hope that she will be able to one day ask the Olympian for forgiveness over her past. So let me play this video from that story.
I feel like they're defaming my character because I know it happened. I was struggling back then, but I've gotten better. Life goes on, and that's my past, and that's what it should be left at, the past. I feel like he didn't have to be so harsh about it. I am his firstborn, and
he could have been a little bit more classy with it, you know? Really. He didn't have to put me under the bus like that. But I mean, I did go through my struggles and everything, but you didn't have to go through it like the way you went through it. I've been following her for years. I'm so proud. I mean, I'm just proud. What I mean, ecstatic. I mean, speechless. It's priceless, you know? When we do talk, it's briefly. I want to say maybe every 3 months. When I call, when she calls, we have vacation together. I was invited when she won her first title, her championship, the PNG in 2014. I was invited there. That was in Pittsburgh. We went on a cruise together, 2009. That was like a family reunion. Before then, I was invited to the Expo Center here in Columbus. She was in a competition. That was way before the Olympics and the champion stuff. And I've been invited in October when she goes on her signing tour. I speak with her when I can. She's very busy. I just want to say I love you, Simone. I'm so proud of you. Go Team USA, and I'll talk to you and I see you when I can.
All right. So in the beginning of the video, I believe what she was referencing was her dad because Simone, she was adopted by her grandparents. And to hear her say that she has she doesn't have a relationship with Simone, but she has spoken with Simone. They have been on vacations together. They have done things together. So Simone has not completely iced her out. Simone is busy. She's living her life. She's a married woman at this point. She's definitely an amazing talent. She just finished up in the Olympics. She did really well there. And if anything, I believe that those outlets reached out to her because they know who she is. And it's a news story for them, right? But even with all of that, with Simone's mom having her struggles with addiction, which is not easy. And a lot of addicts, they don't want anyone to what they call bring up their past. But the past is something that has presently caused scars and hurt for the family that they affected. So they just have to deal with it. They have to come to a place where they can learn to forgive themselves and I don't want to say be forgiving, but be accepting of the fact that the people that they have hurt and scarred, they're going to feel some type of way and they may bring it up forever. And they just have to get used to it. I'm not saying that they have to be beaten over the head with it every time, especially if they are on a path to healing and wholeness. And that's not the space that they're living in anymore of addiction. But it's almost like they don't want them to say anything about it at all, as if it never existed. And that's just not the case. So you could hear the bitterness in Simone's mom when she was speaking in that video just now. But even Simone, whose mom has been an addict, has had opportunities to speak with her mom, to spend time with her mom, and it's her decision, of course, how often she wants to speak to her, if she wants to speak to her ever again at all or whatever. But even in all of that, Simone has been able to have some sort of opening. Mariah Carey, with the struggles that she's had with her mom, she has been able to have some sort of opening for her mom. She said, I'm blessed to be able to have spent the last and final week of my mom's life here on earth with her, and now she's no longer here. It's different, I would say, with parents than siblings. Even the Bible speaks about honor your father and your mother. Now, again, if your mother and father is a monster that was extremely physically abusive, I'm not talking about your parents spanked you. Like, let's just be real, because some people like to try to equate a spanking with abuse. There's a huge difference. And I'm not even saying that spanking is okay all the time. A little quick knock on the hand to knock your child's hand away from something if they're about to hurt themselves or something like that. And then, of course, things were different growing up where people had to go out and get a switch off the tree or the bush or whatever, they were doing so that their parent could. That was even then intense, and a lot of children got through it, but even that was a whole lot. it shouldn't have had to be that way. But I'm saying a lot of children, they got through that and they have had relationships with their parents. Doesn't really say a whole lot about siblings, okay? And I have that story myself. I'm not going to go into all of that, but I'm just basically saying I have a parent that has been struggling with addiction for years. I don't spend a whole lot of time with him. I don't speak to him a whole lot, but when I see him, I speak. I've hugged him. I still love him. You know what I mean? I would never just say, I don't want to have anything else to do with you ever again. I don't like a lot of the things that he did and a lot of things that we had to experience growing up because things could have been better had it not been for the choices and the decisions that he made. But overall, I made it through, and I'm grateful that my mom, was there, and I'm doing great. I'm doing great in my life. My siblings, for that things, terrible things have been done, and that's done. That's done. But Meghan Markle and her dad, I'm going to share my screen. And again, this is my personal opinion. This is how I feel about it. Okay, so a couple of months ago, Thomas Markle celebrated his 80th birthday, and Meghan has not spoken to him in 6 years. It says, as Thomas Markle celebrates his 80th birthday, it's a milestone colored with mixed emotions. The retired lighting director has not spoken to his youngest daughter, Meghan Markle, since 2018, despite allegedly making multiple attempts to reach out. Their relationship became strained when he posed for paparazzi photos before her wedding to Prince Harry. Markle also suffered 2 heart attacks just before the ceremony, preventing him from walking his daughter down the aisle. Now, they're putting this in there, but even if he did not have those heart attacks, she was not going to have her dad walk her down the aisle. She, I believe, my personal opinion, used that opportunity to X him out because he was an embarrassment to her. Since then, Meghan and Harry have not communicated with Thomas, and he has never had the opportunity to meet his son in law or grandchildren, Prince Archie or Princess Elizabeth. Now, see, this is not some dad who was not a part of his child's life. He was not a deadbeat. He was not somebody that just surfaced when the relationship with Prince Harry surfaced and then he wanted to become a part of it. This is somebody that was in her life. Now, her sister, her half sister, that's another story. I don't know what that woman's problem is. She sued her. The lawsuit was dismissed. She's suing her again, I think for defamation. I feel like her sister needs to leave it alone. I don't care if Meghan has a relationship with any of these people. It's not about my opinion, but of course, I'm going to share my opinion. And it's just seeing the differences between people like Mariah Carey, who had a strained relationship with her mom, Simone Biles, rightfully so, strained relationship with her mom, and then Meghan Markle's non-relationship with her dad because he posed for paparazzi photos. To me, it's just giving, and it's not only just that with Meghan and her dad. It's not just about the fact that she isn't having a relationship with him anymore because of that, but it's also how she has been claiming to be a victim with everything that she experienced overseas, and then she and her husband right now are doing things that seems extremely opportunistic that the royal family is not happy with, because even though they can say, well, we've been invited to come to Nigeria, were invited to come to Colombia, the reason they were invited was because of the royal titles that they really are not supposed to be using for their benefit in this way. So I'm just, when it comes to the family dynamics, I know that it can be complicated, definitely difficult. It's definitely not just black and white, but it is sad to me. I mean, seriously, it is sad to me to know that because of he even apologized making the decision that he made to pose for the photos and share. I think he shared a letter that she wrote to him talking about how he embarrassed her or whatever. To me, even though it may have cut her deep, I really feel like in the grand scheme of everything, when you couple, not even couple it, but when you compare it to parents who've been struggling with addiction and cause the family to struggle, or may have abused their child, or things like that, and then you compare it to a dad posing for paparazzi photos and sharing a letter with the press that she wrote to him. So for that, I'm never going to speak to you again. You can't tell me that that's not selfish, very petty, and also hypocritical when she and her husband have been using his family, her in-laws, for profit to share stories about them. I'm just saying. But I completely understand overall family dynamics are difficult, and just putting a broad brush to it to say, well, it's family, so family is over everything. Blood is thicker than water. I do not subscribe to that theory, because I do believe that those types of phrases are used to manipulate people to get them to do things for you. And I'm saying you, not speaking about you that are listening, but when people use those phrases, it's usually for their benefit, to manipulate the person that they're sharing that with, because they are in a position to be able to help them out more than the other person is. So they would say things like, well, you're supposed to help me. You're supposed to support me. Family is over everything. Blood is thicker than water. I'm your sister. I'm your brother. Even I'm your mama and I'm your daddy. I mean, I don't even believe that children are supposed to have to support their parents. But, because of the way the world is, a lot of times those things happen. But it shouldn't be because the children have to. It should be because, one, they want to, and you have had the type of relationship with them where they would want to help their parent out and also be able to do it financially, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts on that, because yeah, it's complicated. It's a lot. It's heavy. But I am hopeful that Megan's dad will at least get to meet his grandchildren. The man is 80. I just don't believe that that is cool. That's my personal thoughts, my personal opinion. I'm hopeful that Simone Biles' mom will continue on the road to sobriety. If she isn't completely there yet, I don't really know. And I'm hopeful that Mariah Carey has peace in the passing of her mom and her sister. So, guys, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So, until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.
Don't wanna talk, don't wanna see, don't wanna feel, what is left? I've been thinking about us and the things you say, how you don't feel enough to come show